It's interesting to me that Gail Burston was never investigated or arrested. I realize the Gaza people, Palestinians, have their hands full. But they are, after all, the ones who complain that feminists have abandoned them. I don't believe that it's reasonable to say that people who want the truth about the AIDS attack and about what went on with John Lennon's cootery are therefore taking politically responsibility for the crime. That's a way of attacking someone like me. The Seattle Clubhouse movement, the women there particularly, augmented the narration as it went along, to quote Attenborough and Schwarzenegger, who in the 90s were sending indications, we'll talk about it as we go along. Chaptering, one chapter after another. And of course, the more recent chapters were things like COVID and Ukraine and Gaza. But it's the same inside group of billionaires. You would have had to follow probably what Gretchen was doing at the Seattle Clubhouse to augment the issues, like showing up with strange men who were hawking rare books and putting a love slavery weepy story about a man from a postal service union who was a Jew, and therefore we all owe him wailing and subordination because of the Holocaust. While Shulman was being arrested for museum theft of books in Pittsburgh, I'm on the Zionist clock. I had a woman show up named Mac, which is interesting because when East Palestine, Ohio went up with the vinyl solution fire, which dispensed with the idea that American civilians mean anything to these people, Mackenzie Shirilla, which is like Shaviti, was arrested. And the coterie here put forward something that, see, what Seattle Monsters did was they claimed that Yoko Ono was politically correct in saying that an implanted neuroplasm of Wattenmaker, Schwarzenegger, Wattenmaker, Attenborough, Watten, Gabriel was REMing it, and it was hiding a one penis stroke. I mean, the Israelis rape people routinely and justified in the Knesset. So they made a laugh of the idea that you can disprove what Spike Lee called school days, that when two people were making love, if the woman wanted to stop and the man didn't, it escalated to rape, which is the story they impinged on. It had nothing to do with me. When the girl who was the actress, the Israeli actress, told me to stop, I immediately did, and that's the end of the story. But they said that they were hunting and blinking. And notice that the story that they give with the neuroplasm from Mackenzie, Dr. Mackenzie and Wattenmaker, who was a partner of Wattenmaker, is the hypnotist love story. The Blinkens love story. The REM love story. In other words, Mackenzie Shirilla was bombed East Palestine, Ohio style for the vinyl solution with a nerve agent that caused a seizure at the wheel, a neurohypnotic chemical, which Pitt specializes in. If you look at the Pitt News, it has articles about the neurohypnosis program. There was a man named Matthew Thornton at the time of the Telltale clip, when Maduri Goto was at Thornton School of Music. they sent in somebody named Mount Thornton from the Warhol crowd, whose father at dinner started railing about horse thieves for some reason. So they were selling this story from Kate McFarron headquarters. Ron is very McFarron, McInterferon. Interferon was a cancer drug or something. Anyway, these were the people who Dixon Lady Panthered my father with the German Green Party signifier don't know who at the time of the Telltale clip. So the fact that Pitt is pulling this sort of symbolic warfare shenanigan is indicative of the powerhouse behind the extermination program, the Hitler extermination program of Israel. Israel doesn't evidently believe Hitler was wrong, only that he chose the wrong victims. And if you look at I once said about Mount Desert Island that I got in too deep because I kept telling myself this can't be real. You can hear me telling myself this can't be real as I argued with the shadows of Pitt's suggestions that the nature of reality. I mean, they had a guy come to Pitt News with a swastika and a Ukrainian warrior outfit, which was all very real. And they were selling this idea of having piranha parties. Literally, a party that surrounded a fish tank with a piranha in it. Now, you can hear me telling myself in my articles as I argued with their contemptible ideas, this can't be real. They can't mean this stuff. Yet they committed this swastika of the AIDS attack, covered it up. Palestinians were no help whatsoever. Gays were mourning the suicide martyrs. And following this bizarre story of Yoko Ono, which was dreamed up, I guess, by Spike Lee, saying that because I stopped when the girl wanted me to stop, I'm therefore guilty. King Crimson had me castrated. A woman named Amanda Harcourt was following me around. Like the senior center here says, don't do politics. Now, I apologize to the director today for crying so visibly about Gaza. I had a breakdown and sought out the therapist who I have been seeing regularly. But they have a moron who comes in with a Reagan hat. They do politics all the time, but it's discreet, subliminal politics. They surround you with gang indications. I mean, Pittsburgh and Seattle literally poison people, literally. And they consider it a coalition. So what I've been arguing with people who stand up for the Palestinians, because the children of Palestine are not to blame for any of this, is for one thing, geopolitics may be a situation where people's political interests takes precedent and priority, or their investment portfolios take precedent and portfolios. Precedents but that's not true of international law. The international law scene is not out to get geopolitics. It's out to put into mainstream, not, and by mainstream I don't mean the conditioning to be persuaded by powerful instruments of propaganda. That's what sometimes people call mainstream, but that's not what I mean. Mainstream is the legitimate, factual record interpreted in light of international law. In other words, the fact that the Beatles can step on the gas and lie and get people to hate somebody who's completely innocent of wrongdoing is not mainstream. It's a conditioning power lobby who have suasion in propaganda machinery. Like the idea that Amnesty International defends nonviolent people is insane. They use their office for coordinated rape attacks, arsons, horrible brutality, chemical castration of a deaf poet. They poisoned me to give me Parkinson's, and they called it paranormal observation of an art object through Warhol. And that's not mainstream. That's a powerful propaganda instrument. Mainstream is the trivial fact that virginity does not prove rape. And Robert Fripp dropping his pick does not prove that defiant sexual trespass took place. He's a maniac, and he's obsessed with proving a lie in defense of mass murderers. That's the truth of it. That's the mainstream truth of it, because it's objective and conforms with all of the facts.